Hello and welcome to episode 666 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast.
We did it.
The Beast is within us. I'm Darby Hellman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, how does it feel to welcome our Lord and Savior Satan into this household on this podcast?
Pretty good. Yeah. Finally. That's what we've been working towards.
It's about time, you know.
And like we do every freaking year, we missed our anniversary.
Oh, no. I didn't even think about it. And we're actually, so it was our, is it 4 year? 3 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
Whew.
When the Switch launched, pretty much.
Whew. What the hell? Do you know when it was?
I can't remember the time. It's a weird nebulous thing where we technically recorded before like test episodes like in February, but we didn't do actual Nerds at Large episode, I think, till March.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be now. But
so to us, it feels like
a little longer.
And there's not like a definitive date to us. It's like, it's just like somewhere in there. Well, happy birthday to us. 4 freaking years. That's really weird.
Yep.
That's very
4
strange.
years to get to 666 episodes.
Yep. You know, we've just been cranking those bad boys out.
Yep.
Yeah, going back to that first episode. I did that like last year sometime. And I was like, oof. We sound even more awkward than we do now, which is impressive. And audio was something. Well, Jeff, we're back for the first time in 2 weeks.
Yes.
What are we going to do to open this bad boy up?
You know that Character Hall of Fame thing would be introduced and just get done forgetting
that we did 4 years ago?
Yeah.
It was more like 4 weeks ago, but, you know, time is a flat circle. Yeah. So how does this thing work, Jeffrey?
So, yeah, we got a big list of characters that Dari's going to put on the screen right now. He can do that if he wants to. No pressure.
We'll see. We'll see how much Darby's feeling.
Yeah. But we're gonna add characters. We're gonna add 2 each to kind of make up for it a little bit.
Yes. And we're totally prepared. We've done so much thinking ahead of time.
Yeah. And if people don't recall, I didn't listen to when we did it before. We kind of do this like a Smash Brothers type roster thing where we're adding these characters to a roster and kind of come out with a Smash moveset. Sometimes we go really indifferent. Sometimes we just have a more concept because sometimes coming up with a full moveset in depth is harder than other times.
It is. And at least the way that I'm approaching this is just I think of characters that I love first and then moveset second. Yeah, so sometimes it's not the most interesting thing. But ultimately the primary purpose of this is to be like, these are characters that we love.
Yeah, I had an inside voice, so.
Yep. Peak of all the dodge rolls that he does.
Yep.
Well, Jeff, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, okay. I was trying to think which one I wanted to add, because I had a couple choices I want to do. You know what? I think it's time she was added. You know who was coming. Character I love more than most people do. The goddess herself, Palutena, from Kid Icarus.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I don't just like her for Smash. I don't know her just from Smash. A lot of people actually play Kid Icarus Uprising. Love that game. Yeah. Mainly in part for the writing of that between her and Pit. She's a great character in that, and she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, even from the little bit I've seen, like, I love that she seems like this just angelic goddess character that would be very boring, but it's like, oh no, she has personality. She has a lot of personality.
So I figured what to do with Smash. I mean, as far as the moveset's like, honestly, it's a lot like Smash. Like, even before she was announced, her moveset was kind of like me and a lot of people thinking just all the abilities that are in Kid Icarus Uprising that Pit has that he didn't use in Smash. And especially since they were powers kind of bestowed upon him by Palutena anyway, just have her do. Just have her do it in Smash, which is what they did for the most part. So I was like, I can't come up with much anything than to do that.
Right.
That's the most simple thing to do.
Yeah.
But I thought to mix it up a little bit. She has her own little system that's a little different from normal system. Because, like, you know, a lot of times when you think a system is gameplay focused, this time it's going to be more sound focused. Whenever she's fighting someone, dialogue things come up where her and Pit and Viridi trash talk her opponent.
Mental damage.
Mental damage. So it's like Palutena's guidance, but at all times.
Okay, I like
and there's
that.
an on and off thing because you know you can only do so many lines. You don't want to just repeat them forever.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like this. Question: is she playable with the stylus cramping your fingers, severe arthritis, like doing this with the 3DS?
Yes, very good point, Darby.
Yeah.
She is, her movesets do double the damage if you're playing on a 3DS with a stylus.
But like it has to be on the ground. You're touching the stylus. It'll know. The system will know.
Yes, it reads it. It reads your pain.
So we have confirmed that our game comes out on 3DS apparently.
Yes, or it is compatible with
3DS. Yes. And Ouya.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course.
I mean,
that's what I was saying.
It's going to have a 3-year exclusivity to Ouya.
Yeah.
just letting everyone know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Dari, who you got?
My first character is kind of a surprise because of how much I kind of shit talked the second game. But my character is Kat from Gravity Rush.
Okay.
I shit talked to Gravity Rush 2 a lot because I think it's a bad game. I think it's a very poorly designed game that I just couldn't handle anymore because of how poorly designed it was from a gameplay and mission design standpoint.
But this is about the game.
But this is not about that. And God, I love Kat. Kat is a wonderful character. She is like a ball of sunshine and she's great. She's she's kind of a simple character. Obviously, it's a very like a superhero origin story thing or whatever, but like her personality and like the fish out of water thing of her in the city, it's just good.
Yeah,
it is just fun. It's pleasant. It's nice. And on top of that, I think some of the like intrigue about like where she came from and just her power in general is very interesting.
Yeah,
it's like it's one of the more interesting superhero powers you can have to control gravity. You just like go everywhere. And her design when she goes into gravity form, I think, just looks awesome. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot to love there.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a very iconic looking character.
I agree, which I think even Sony thinks so. At least they had to a point because even though Gravity Rush hasn't done particularly well sales-wise, unfortunately, still, I think it was the Women's Day thing they did last year or whatever. Kat was on there.
Nice.
And filled with, characters from more successful franchises. So it might be because of the lack of women, honestly. But, she at least stands out. And I think Kat's one of those characters where, again, kind of niche, but kind of more popular than the game itself in a way.
Definitely.
I guess Morgan from Darkstalkers is like another one I'd throw out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think significantly more people will recognize Kat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I think Kat was like the first PlayStation All Stars DLC character and one of the most requested. Even though again, Gravity Rush didn't do particularly well.
Right,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
and that's obviously one we both agree. She's great. And I mean, I honestly think she is a very big reason why I kept picking Gravity Rush 2 back up again, because like that world I love existing in that world. Even in Gravity Rush 2, I think some of the environments in Gravity Rush 2 are phenomenal. It's like really, it's one of my favorite game worlds, and she's one of my favorite characters. And like I think that's part of why I was like, let me just give it one more chance. I'm like, God no, it's bad. Let me just give it one more chance. Oh, God no, one more chance.
I need you to try at some point.
It's just it has a lot of problems, but yeah.
Okay. Well, so my second, I got two choices, and I kind of wanted you to go first, just in case you do one of mine.
Oh, I'm not. I 100% promise you, I'm not doing one of yours with this next one.
Okay.
But I 100% promise you.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good. Let me think. Okay. Pick one or two, Darby. You will determine which character I choose.
2.
Monokuma.
Hey, I'm so glad I chose 2. Let's go.
I should have brought the Monokuma plushie out. Oh, well, whatever. It would have given away. So, yeah, I decided on Monokuma as a character to add on here because, he's iconic in a way. Like, even people who don't her up, but you recognize that pair.
Yes, yeah.
You see him, and just... He is a little shit that you love to hate. And it's just thinking back about Danganronpa, my love of the series kind of grows as I get away from it. So like, this is a really good series. And Monokuma is a big part of that. His bits could have, gotten old after a while. And I think for some people it probably did. In some ways it kind of did, depending which way. Yeah. But overall, like I still kind of get the little chills like when the little ding comes when a body's covered. It's like, a body has been discovered. It's like, oh, fuck, no. You just feel that pain in your gut. It's probably from that voice saying that someone's died.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck, Israel. Going through this shit again.
Very iconic. Very iconic. Super chaotic evil. He is a very good example of chaotic evil.
Yeah, for sure. He's that personified.
Yes.
Had to do it, sorry. As far as moveset's the hard thing for this.
Yeah.
So there are a couple different ways you can go about it. You can go with him getting some stuff from like executions. When like a killer was caught and being executed, you can kind of use movesets like that. Like a motorcycle's involved in one, so you have like a warrior side B or something like that, or firing a bunch of baseballs at someone can do that kind of way, or setting stuff on fire. Or robots or whatever.
I want there to be some sort of Dragon Balls and Dragon Ball Fighters mechanic of like voting or something. There to be like he can activate something and you can vote someone someone in the game and they take damage or something. I want something weird like that.
Okay, like he has a very specific mechanic only when it's more than 2 people. Where the people vote and then one person is punished. Some kind of random penalty.
I want something. Bullshit. Something like ridiculous.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so this is the final Smash where the voting happens. And the punishment is based on the character, like it is in Danganronpa. So all the punishments are based on that character's talent. So it will be based on, again, the character. Like Inside Boy, he's ripped apart by dogs or some shit.
He takes it from your game. Yeah,
it takes it from the game, or possibly like some way they die on there, or some ironic way about it, depending on what it is.
I like that.
Like Ellie is like, I don't know, devoured by infected or something.
Yeah. I like it.
Something like that. Or you can have him summon the monobots or whatever. They're these giant like mechs he has at some point. Because why the hell not?
Of course he does. Of course,
yes.
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Excellent choice. Well, my last choice is going to mean nothing to you, and it'll probably go by pretty fast because I have not come up with any sort of moveset or anything. It's happening, Jeff. It's finally it's happening this early. Soraka from League of Legends.
Oh, okay.
This is partially, I just freaking love the game. I've been playing it so much. That's most of what I play at this point. And go ahead and start stealing my lunch money and call me a nerd because I have
always
started reading the League of Legends lore.
God damn it, dude. You're fucking... You won't even touch your Overwatch lore.
I know. I'm just more interested. And there's games coming out and stuff, and now I'm like really excited because like it's legitimately like reading some of this is cool because like it's very obvious that they built out this like super fleshed out world, and they're like, oh, we're gonna make something with this at some point. We're gonna go far with it, and it's kind of cool because you can dip around and read different characters. Like every character has like a bio and a short story, and a lot of them involve other characters. So I'll like read one that will involve another character. I'll be like, oh, let me go read theirs now, and then let me go read.
There's so many characters. That's like a never-ending thing.
There's 100. There's over 150 characters, and then there's other side stories, and there's comic lines that were apparently made by Marvel. It's like there's a lot of.
So
shit.
I have trouble remembering because I'm not obviously up on the League stuff. Has this been your main kind of consistently for?
For the there was a period of time where she was like less good on a certain patch, or at least felt less good to me. So I started playing some other characters, but she is definitely the one I've played the most by far. Like there was a period I didn't play her for a while, but now I'm back to playing her like primarily again.
So it was like for movesets, it sounds like she'll excel as a team-based character.
Yes,
and duos, and will do status effects and heal stuff.
Yes, yeah,
it's the main thing. One-on-ones, nah.
No, she's definitely a Mercy type. I mean, she's my type of character. You probably could have guessed that this is the character I'd play. She's a very healy character.
Sorry, I couldn't have guessed. I could have maybe shortened it down by healer because it's 100 fucking characters.
This is also true. This is very true. Yeah, not a lot to go off of there, but it's mostly I'm choosing her because like I love her moveset and everything, but also like reading into it, she's cool because she's like this celestial being that like has a mortal form and like lives in a cool like mountain, and she's cool.
Nice. Okay, Dari, something we got to do real quick because we did take a little bit of time. We got to decide who's each other's rivals.
Yeah, very quick.
Knowing nothing about them, Soraka Palutena makes sense, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And then Kat and Monokuma, because they're both adorable.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's easy. Lock it in.
Okay.
Actually, Soraka Palutena is very good.
Yeah.
They're very, yeah. They're both celestial gods.
Yep. All right.
All right. That was fun.
All right. So quick game talk. I'm going to try to keep it very quick. Persona 5 Strikers, I have continued to play. I am in the middle of the 5th jail, I guess, for people who have actually played the game, know what's going on. And as for people who have not, who are Persona 5 fans, I say play the damn game. It's the more it goes on, the more it's just a Persona game.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like this is a spoiler because it's in the opening thing. There's a character in the game who's a cop that follows you around for a little bit. He's an adult, so an adult party member who has a Persona Awakening sling, and it is just really dope.
It's different,
and again, this is just a Persona game.
Yeah,
and reading more people's opinions of this, people just seem to agree to where this is the most mainline feeling Persona spin-off game that there's been.
Probably most mainline feeling Muso Koei Tecmo game too.
100%, and I am on board with whenever Koei Tecmo does do spin-off games. I feel like they're at their best when they do, besides like Neo and stuff. But as far as I forgot the Team Omega whatever stuff, when the more they dive into the stuff from the games they're basing it off of, I think the better they do.
Yeah, the more it's not just this is just Dynasty Warriors with a skin, and it's that's
Fire Emblem Warriors is more of that. Dynasty Warriors with a skin. Hyrule Warriors is that for a lot, but it takes a lot more from the games.
Yeah.
Persona is not that, and I think it's better for it.
Yeah, but most of Hyrule Warriors things seem like gameplay stuff taken from it, which is cool and everything.
Yeah.
But like
it does take a lot more Zelda stuff than again like One Piece or Fire Emblem.
But when I walk by mini sections of you playing Persona, it's like Persona 5 Strikers. It's like this looks like Persona. It looks like you're playing Persona, like you said. Hyrule Warriors, I never got the feel. It's like, oh, he's playing Breath of the Wild. It's like, no. It's like, but this is like very
well.
Much,
also, something is they don't even consider it like. As far as the whole Warriors thing, they don't even consider it because I know this might be something that I'm just kind of looking too much into. I don't really think so because Japanese companies are weird like this. In all the spin-off games, Hyrule Warriors, One Piece, Pirate Warriors, Fire Warriors. Warriors is in the name, especially in Japanese. It's not there in Strikers at all.
Yeah.
So they don't even really consider it a Warrior game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yep. Great game. Speaking of great games, EVO. EVO has great games.
Speaking of great business acquisitions.
Yep. This comes from Matt T.M. Kim from IGN. Sony has announced that it has acquired the Evolution Champion Series, better known as EVO, the world's largest fighting game tournament. Sony Interactive and RTS, an esports venture from Endeavor, have acquired the assets and properties of the EVO series. The purchase means future EVO events are effectively Sony PlayStation events in partnership with RTS. EVO co-founders Tony and Tom Cannon will remain at EVO as key advisors, and Sony took the opportunity to announce the 2021 dates for EVO Online. This year's EVO event will be held digitally on August 6th to 8th and then August 13th to 15th. Events will include Tekken 7, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, and Guilty Gear Strive. Details on the online qualifiers will be shared in the coming weeks. As for the other games, EVO business developer Mark Julio says EVO is still open to all platforms, and that PlayStation and RTS are allowing Julio's teams to work with his community to support fighting games as a whole. Let's see, and that's the end from the original article, and then Nintendo provided a statement regarding it. And yeah, this is a spokesperson from Nintendo. Nintendo has enjoyed engaging with fans at past EVO tournaments and wishes to show organizers the best with their new venture. We will continue to access EVO and other opportunities as we plan for future online and offline Super Smash Bros. Tournament activity.
That's a slightly troubling statement. I don't know exactly how to read it.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Starting with, yes, EVO is now owned by Sony.
Did anyone have this on their bingo cards? Anyone?
No, I love the jokes of Jim Ryan was like, just buy something. Just buy something. Microsoft got Bethesda. Just buy something.
He has like an acquisition gift card, for acquiring something. It was about to expire. He's like, oh shit.
Evo's buying it. Buy it.
Yeah, really, really bizarre. Like I feel like this is not one of those that's like you can clearly see what PlayStation's thought process was getting this. It's like not like acquiring Insomniac. It's like duh.
Yeah, 100%.
Freaking duh. It's like this is one of those. It's like okay, I can see it, but I have to sit down with it and think. You know?
Well, and the thing is, like, as far as like, let's say, just to narrow it down a little bit, a platform holder was going to buy EVO. Sony would be the last one, or maybe not the last, but they don't have a connection to it. Nintendo has Smash, which has always been there, and Xbox at least has Killer Instinct, which has been there.
Yeah.
So at least they have their foot in the door as EVO as a whole, where Sony has not.
Yeah, Sony has no fighting game they developed.
All-Stars might have been there that first year as the side tournament. Probably as a side tournament for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they have nothing else.
No, yeah, the closest thing you can say they have is that Street Fighter is exclusive to them.
Yeah, but that deal. That's the closest.
Doesn't really count. Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna go forward, but still.
Yeah, and they don't own that. That's not. Yeah, and it is weird because Sony is not really involved in any sort of like esports thing. Like they're pretty much they've like made themselves. They are the like story RPG third person action company or whatever, and then has some Japanese games of like similar genres or whatever, and that's kind of who they are. They're not really in this space, but maybe that is precisely why they did this.
Yeah.
To expand out, to get a foot in the door over here. Maybe they saw this as an opportunity because I bet you right now EVO, if you were going to buy out EVO, right now is the lowest EVO has ever been valued.
Hey, that's another part of this, at least from the EVO standpoint, is I'm not surprised they were selling. I mean, EVO is the lowest. I think things were kind of lower anyway, and then the whole controversy last year we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
It was just at its lowest, especially with the online stuff. So that stuff makes sense, and getting bought is probably, from a money standpoint, good for them.
From their perspective, I definitely understand them saying yes to this.
Yeah. But the Sony part of it is just the kind of weirdest thing. And from the standpoint of the platform, like games being there, they've said that Mark Julio says they're open to all games, but they say that now, but how will that go in practice? Because right now, well, I guess at the very least, all the games so far are available on PlayStation. At least Tekken 7 they've already confirmed is going to be the PC version. But the other ones will probably be the PlayStation version.
Yeah, the bad part of this is that just like we talk about any of these major companies, they could always, leadership can change and they could completely change their mind.
Yeah.
But I do, if I had to predict, I think Sony will understand that this is something that if they are too iron fist about and to like make too much of a like show of what they're doing with it, that the whole thing's gonna fall apart. I mean, that like the anger for it will not be worth the consequences. And kind of like we were saying, it's not like you really have the support. If you were like, no one else but us, it'd be like, all right, well, you just kicked out a lot of your top games at this tournament, and this tournament's gonna like fall in value like fast in that way. So if I had to predict, I'm gonna predict that like when you watch EVO this year, you're not gonna really be able to tell. Like maybe there'll be some more ads for Sony, but I think that will be about the extent of what you tell from a viewer.
As far as game selection, I feel like the only game or game/series that's historically been there with this effect is probably Smash. But that wasn't going to be there anyway because it's going to be an online tournament. Yeah, and it wasn't. It already wasn't there last year.
It's more looking for the future.
Yeah, once you can do it with the in-person.
Because they definitely, obviously, they bought EVO because this is something they're going to want to bring back up to to what it was before. I mean, the more I think about it, it's like they probably got it for next to nothing, and it's like it's at the lowest point right now where it's like if you're negotiating things. If you're the one buying, you have all the leverage. Like Sony's like, all right, good luck on your own if you don't want to accept this offer. Yeah. So it's like they get it for next to nothing, and EVO's in a bad place right now, but its potential is very high.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as the pandemic lifts and like if this stuff gets under control, EVO can go right back up to being like the biggest fighting game event of the year. And I like maybe that makes sense. It makes sense to buy low, and then like now, similar to Sony buying like Crunchyroll and Funimation, like they're just expanding their tendrils out into like many different things.
Can't believe they own anime and fighting games.
Too much power.
Too much power.
No one band should have that much power.
Does this mean PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale 2
is an anime? Is getting an anime?
Yes, exactly what I meant. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think it leads to that. It needs anything for that. I want it to so bad, but
I think this is more money.
Yeah,
and market share than it is an actual direction that Sony's going. I don't think it's like, oh, Sony's going to start making fighting games. I don't think
they could make a fighting game because why not? But
but I don't think this is going to be like a big shift for Sony.
That'd be a giant marketing thing. It's like, we're making a fighting game, so we just bought the biggest fighting game tournament for marketing. Lols.
And then what if the fighting game's just really bad? They're like, and here it is on the front cover. It's just like derpy dude. Like, interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yep. It's also very interesting, Darby. Square Enix presents.
Is very the word you would use?
You know what? I just roll with it.
There was a surprise there.
There was a surprise.
And that surprise was cool.
Yes.
We will get to that surprise because I have a feeling we're only going to be talking about 2 things, right? Or 3 things. Three things.
A couple things. Like, I want to talk about the presentation as a whole because I'm just, as someone who obviously follows this stuff, I kind of just interested in how these people handle these marketing things.
A student of the game.
Yes, student of the game. And especially since they're going to continue with these things, and as people do continue these direct style things. But yeah, obviously, they're going to get a couple key focuses we'll go into. Yes. First one being Life is Strange. Mm-hmm. We got a new game announcement.
Show your true colors.
Yes.
Shining through.
Yes. Got the new Life is Strange game announcement. Life is Strange True Colors. We know we're getting that going into it. We got a whole bunch of information. Coming out September 10th, Darby. Pretty soon.
Not quite right around the corner, but right around the next corner.
Yes. Not episodic, so it's all at once. So in the Life is Strange, in comparison to other Life is Strange titles, this is very around the corner. As far as getting all the stuff.
We would normally be a year away from finishing this.
Yes. And though it is not episodic as in release, it is going to be split up into 5 parts within the game. Just kind of... Yeah. If people want to take a break, they have that option.
The same structure they did before, which is fine. Like there was definitely some cool things when the credits and like having a time skip or something. They can do cool things with that. But I think this is very smart.
Yes, I feel like this is less of a creative decision more than a business one for sure, because the release schedule for Life is Strange 2 did not do it any favors.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I think episodic things, like, I think some people will take too much of a hardline stance of it. I think it can work and it can be really cool, but they have never been able to produce these consistent at a pace that was consistent enough to not detriment it. It was like one would come out, the second episode would come out around schedule, then the third one would take like 4 months. And it's like, all right, well, people have moved on. They've forgotten about this. It's not as fresh. You're like, What did that do? What did that do? It's like, yeah. And I just don't have confidence that they would be able to keep this. So I think it's a lot smarter to sit on this and put it.
I 100% agree. And I'm okay with it. And they've been working on this a while. 2017, they said, pretty much right after Before the Storm.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
I'm blanking on the studio name.
Deck 9.
Yeah, Deck 9 working on this. And not Don't Nod. Don't Nod could be done with the series, as far as we know.
Yeah, could be. So Don't Nod did make Tell Me Why?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, main character is named Alex Chin. Getting an Asian American character this time. We know she is, because they like to have LGBTQ themes in this stuff. We know she is bi, because they introduced 2 love interests in Ryan and Steph.
Yes.
Steph, people might recognize from Before the Storm, the last one. I had that feeling of like she looks kind of familiar.
Now that someone pointed out she's the one you played D&D with, I'm like, okay,
her. She's great.
So,
I'm okay with that, and especially since we'll get more of her in this game compared to them.
Yes, that's cool.
Which is nice.
Yeah,
I saw some people like mentioning like, what does this mean for Bay versus Bay for Life is Strange 1? It's like, well, she wasn't there in Life is Strange 1, so.
Wait, what now? I'm sorry.
Because she was there before the storm in Arcadia Bay, and this is happening.
Yeah,
obviously later that.
Yeah, I don't.
The Bay versus Bay can.
I don't think it's going to change anything.
Yeah. Because I think people in general have been kind of keeping away from one being canon over the other. So people,
didn't
feel like the choice actually matters.
Right. Like 2 just references Arcadia Bay, but it doesn't reference one or the other, does it?
It asks you. Like, which one did you choose? And remember, because you do we only played episode 1, but it did show you at Arcadia Bay, and it did change. Like, it was either nothing or actual town.
Okay. Interesting. Spoilers for Life is Strange 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yes, I think it looks cool. In the old, were you about to get to the magic power?
Magic power, yes. Like all Life is Strange, there's got to be some kind of ability, unless you're before the storm.
Yes.
But this one they call empathy. She can like read the emotions.
She's the only human with empathy, so that's her superpower.
Yep. She can kind of see auras, kind of going off the emotions, and they kind of hint / say that she is affected by it, like emotionally and everything, and potentially hit at her being able to affect people's emotions herself.
Right,
with her powers.
It does seem like there's a potentially cool like I love when it's a weird thing. I'm usually talking about fantasy things when I say this, but I love when magic systems have consequences. Yeah, like almost equal consequences, and it seems like because on the surface this seems like a type of power that could kind of like break the narrative and the storytelling of the game. It's like, okay, if you can read what everyone's feeling and no one can ever lie to you, and a lot of Life is Strange is almost like a detective thing, like trying to figure out things, so it seems like that kind of breaks it in some ways. But they definitely hint at like she can't just do this willy-nilly and there's no problem. Like it shows her being like hurt, like obviously this is kind of like takes a part of herself to change things, and it showed like when someone else was mad, it was like fucking her up. So it's like it seems like they could go cool places with them.
Yeah, it's also some people are like, oh, this is a lame power. Not really thinking about like stuff like like you said, affecting her. It's like, and them mentioning you use this to solve the mystery because in the trailer they say, hey, her brother died, and there seems to be more to her than just an unfortunate accident. Yeah. So doing that to kind of read off, it's not like a mind reading thing. It's you're feeling like, okay, something's off here based on what they're saying and how we know they're feeling. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with this power.
I do think I prefer on the surface before I've seen it. Obviously, I do think I prefer the other 2 powers just because I like that the other 2 powers are a thing, and it's a thing that you can what their power is. Because one of the things I hate is when the powers are so like vague that they can kind of do whatever they want with it. And I do worry that this is gonna be one of those that it works one way the whole thing, but then if there's a cutscene that they just want her to be able to like blow something up, they'll just be like, emotions, bam, it's like, and I don't like that. I like more like, this is the power and these are your limitations, these are the bounds of this power. Like when you don't set the bounds, then it's like narratively it's like we can do whatever we want.
I agree. But at least right now I'm not too worried about that, just because this is just the first showing, so it may not even be till the game comes out. They might set the limitations then. Kind of keep some things kind of secret. And I think I saw something they kind of said in one thing that it looks like she starts with the game with these powers instead of in both Life is Strange 1 and 2 where they just kind of discover them. Right. At least that's what it's kind of sounding like.
Yeah, I think she said like I've always been known this but never told anyone or something.
Yeah, so I think that's a nice kind of way to shake things up.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like the setting of this. Looks very cool. It's kind of a small town in the mountains type thing.
I think I saw some stuff that it looks like kind of explorable, as like kind of more. It might be a little more open than the previous Life is Strange. Than this setting and kind of walking around. Yeah, just that.
They showed like a day and night, and they were talked about like all the shops and stuff. It definitely looked like it had had some openness. Which this many games in, I'm totally down for them to be like, hey, let's mix up the formula a little bit. Like,
it's like that's. Exciting. Also, mixing up full performance capture with
which I didn't. Maybe the other ones don't hold up as well as I think. Like looking back or whatever, because they also did this whole like remaster thing. I'd like to see the before and after.
Yeah, I think that'll be crazy. Also something I kind of want to mention. I'm curious of your take on this. The price point. Because this is a full $60 game compared to the other ones.
I think that's perfectly fine. Honestly, if you told me the other ones were full price, I would have believed you.
Yeah, that's starting some controversy. Like some people immediately saying, like, "Oh, they want to kill the series with that price point." People were saying the same thing when Life is Strange 2 was $40.
That's crazy. I mean, if you put all the chapters together, it's like 10 plus hours. Probably.
Well, based on the length,
or more. Yeah,
it's probably close to 20, 30-ish hours.
Yeah, because they're all like about 5 hours each, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think Life is Strange 2 is close to like 3 to 4 hours per chapter.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's a full ass game. It's a very. Full game.
It's just the stigma of the like. There are just certain games people refuse to pay full price for no matter what, and those games seem to be any cartoony game. And these very narrative, like just straightforward games, like if it's not like open world and all that or crazy long,
if it's not like a big AAA crazy budget God of War shit, then it's like it shouldn't be full price. Yeah.
So I guess based on that, me and you are okay with the price, and we'll get it.
Absolutely, yeah. I would have assumed that Life is Strange 1 was also $60 if you hadn't told me that. So,
yeah. Let me see. What was I about to say? Also, they had in little side things. I don't think they said it during this presentation. Life is Strange Wavelengths is announced. It's a bonus episode where you play as Steph. It sounds like before the events of this game.
Cool. Captain Spirit type of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it's coming out in relation to the game. I don't know if it's like an after thing or it's coming out before like Captain Spirit, or maybe they just haven't said. I mean, that could be a cool like or Square Enix presents summer thing where it's like, hey, here's a new trailer for Life is Strange 3. Hell, you know that wavelength we talked about? It's out now.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
It might be a pre-order thing because it sounds like it may come with the deluxe edition or something, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But I am down
see that. For full show.
More Life is Strange. Though, of course, we're excited for this game, Daria. It sounds like very much so. I imagine.
Yeah.
But we need to play 2.
Yes, I will not play this before playing 2.
I'm with you. And because of this and the remaster announcement, I've been thinking more Life is Strange. Like, yeah, I'm feeling that. It's like I like remembering. Like, yeah, I love the 2 games that we played, and I'm excited for this.
I haven't gotten the itch, but I know I would love it, so I need to just play it. And I'm kind of looking for something to play right now, so I need to just do it. I'm sure, like, it's one of those things that is like,
once you get started,
as soon as I start, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm an idiot. Because
we really liked what we played at episode 1. Yeah. It's just the unfortunate just timing what's going on in our lives and just the distance between them just kind of threw us off.
Show did.
Yep. Well, let's talk about the remaster collection just real quick. We haven't been too long on it. Includes the original and Before the Storm.
Yes.
Coming fall 2021, so it will be after the release of True Colors. Remastered visuals and environments. Going to have vastly improved animations because it's also going to have performance capture or facial capture at the very least, and updated and / refined gameplay puzzles. So this sounds pretty significant, and I am legitimately shocked they're doing this for Life is Strange.
In fact, even changing puzzles, it's like they're actually like they actually went in and changed parts of the game. That's
unfortunately, with this trailer they showed us, we don't really get to see the improvements.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that side by side.
Did they say when that's coming out?
Fall.
Okay. So yeah, well that I mean I think that's a decent vote of confidence, or like showing that Square Enix kind of does value this IP, you know. So
yeah, and I think it's up for a pre-order. I want to say it was like $40 maybe for or something. But you can, if you get the Ultimate Edition or Deluxe Edition of True Colors, I think for $80 you get that as well, the remastered as well.
Okay.
So honestly, depending on the price, I might grab for that. Like if it's the $80 thing, might grab it because it will come with the Steph episode, I assume, as well, and the remaster.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm super interested in playing all the way through Life is Strange again. At least not right now, but we'll see. Yeah,
that's just one of those things. If it's as I outlined, it's like, well, I'm probably going to at least get more than just the regular edition that gets Steph. Might as well pay like.
I'm curious, and I mean this with all due respect, because I love these games, and I'm very excited for this game, and this is not like the most important thing for me with these games. I'm very interested to see a before and after with this whole remaster thing, because, I mean, True Colors doesn't look great visually to me. I mean, it looks like an old game, which is fine to me. Life is Strange, I'm not going here for the, like, crazy, hyper realistic, up-to-date visuals or whatever. It's like, you know, it looks good enough. It has a pretty art style, whatever. I'm down with whatever, but like even that game, True Colors, looks like a game that could have came out in 2016, 17, and I wouldn't bat an eye at it. So I'm wondering, you know what I mean? Like if they're like touting this whole big remaster, I'm like, how much better does it look when your modern game, I still don't think looks modern, you know? And I'm not trying to sound like mean. I don't care personally that much, but I'm just wondering how much of a value is that going to look like, you know? I'm just interested.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm curious to see like a split of like old fans returning to it and I guess new people that might try True Colors since the way Life is Strange is, you don't really need to play the other games. I mean, you get some additional context for some things, it sounds like, but
yeah,
so
for
it
sure.
could be like, okay, True Colors was cool. Oh shit, these remasters, cool, they look better.
Yeah, definitely smart for the people who are completely new to the series to have those back to back like that.
And A Before the Storm gets the respect it deserves.
Please, seriously, dude, game's so good.
And the big finale of it, I say the other very exciting thing, Forspoken was shown off. Previously, Project Athia.
It's an isekai.
Didn't see that coming.
How the baby eats a boy. I'm gonna start calling the isekais how the baby eats a boy.
When I was listening to the Easy Allies podcast, I haven't heard the whole thing, but I heard them talk about this. But it's like, yeah, it's like Chronicles of Narnia. I'm like, man, I look at this stuff very different than you, blood. You pure boy. I've been tainted.
Cherish that. Yes, blood. It is like the Chronicles of Narnia.
That's the simplification. And they've confirmed officially that it's launching in 2022 for PS5 and PC. Mm-hmm. Truly next gen.
Get fucked, Xbox. I do kind of hate that all Square Enix games are just like none of them are coming to Xbox. At least not day one. It's like sucks.
Yeah, I hate it. It does suck. But like the Final Fantasies and all that. Yeah.
Yes. I was not. Obviously, the only thing we had seen from this before was
a little teaser.
Lady jumping from some rocks and some monsters and shit.
Growing some trees on the ground.
It looked cool. But I was not expecting the whole modern day element. I know that they're not in the modern day, but she is from modern day. Like she came from Isekai. Yes.
I hope she's hit by a truck.
I was certainly not expecting that part of it. So I'm wondering, how much is that, you know, what is the story going to, is it, you know, she's trying to get back to the real world, like what exactly is that going to, like,
and it's obvious, like, we see her actually go there, because the first thing we hear from her is like, that a motherfucking dragon.
Great first line
indeed.
Truly.
Yeah,
and I just I kind of wasn't expecting this like slightly lighthearted. Like if you had told me when we saw like Project Athia, what do you think the first words of Project Athia trailer is going to be? I wouldn't have thought, is that a motherfucking dragon?
Honestly,
I would have thought, thousands of years ago in the kingdom of Athia.
I agree, and I think that's really cool.
Yes,
I'm very curious to see the gameplay, because we just kind of seen her running forward a lot, running in straight lines.
Lots of motion.
Yeah, a lot of motion and all kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see, like, it was like these big, pretty worlds. What exactly can you do and all that? Yeah,
the path that she's going on kind of looks linear. I mean, we are dissecting something that we know nothing about now, but
that's all we got.
Yeah. I do agree that it's one of those things that maybe it looks really open, but it looks open almost in the way that Uncharted, when you're running around in Uncharted, you're like, look at this massive jungle, but it's just a set piece.
They're calling it like narrative driven, so it might be a somewhat shorter
I'm not
thing.
even saying this in a bad way. It's like, I mean, honestly, I think some games are open world when they shouldn't be, and that's
and also a woman of color as the star of a big Japanese game. Yay!
That has to be
cool.
One of like 2, 3. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Honestly, there's not enough black women in general in like game characters I could think of, especially not leads. So that is cool. And obviously, we still don't really know what the game is, combat and all the other stuff, what exactly it is. But visually, it's stunning. It's really, really pretty.
And, you know, we kind of knew this, but especially since they're probably, or whatever, especially since they just showed it again, it's sounding like this is probably going to come out, hopefully come down the first part of next year. Which I would expect it to come out later than that, because we just got that project model.
And it will.
They probably will.
Later than that.
But at least right now, it sounds like they're planning for early next year, because that Sony thing back in January or whatever it was had this at January 2022. I'm not expecting to hit that, but but they're probably planning at least for that first half-ish, first quarter-ish.
Right.
Which is exciting. But
that's cool.
I'm curious how this is going to go up as far as like Final Fantasy 16 and all that.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, like, I do kind of like. I think this is a good compliment to 16 for their lineup going forward because I'm super hyped for 16 because I'm into this shit. Yes. But 16 is very what I was talking about, the kingdom of whatever fantasy, fantasy. You know, like over and over again. So I'm kind of happy, and honestly, a lot of Japanese games, and especially a lot of Square Enix's games, do fall in that same mold of like, it's kind of basic fantasy stuff. So I think it is kind of refreshing that it's like, we get the fantasy thing, but we also get this completely different tone thing or whatever. And even it's not just the fact that she's from modern day and says motherfucking dragon. It's also, I think, some of the visual designs of this, honestly, they don't look very Square Enix design in a lot of ways. Like they look more like when she does the tendrils are coming up, it looks like Hellblade or almost like Witcher-esque. It's like not even like it just looks different. It looks like it's a different
mystical
tone
but realistic. Where like Final Fantasy, even if they go for like a more realistic style, it's still cartoony in the way it looks at this crazy colored dragon.
Definitely, the slider is more towards realistic, but still in the realistic fantasy. Still in between, but closer to realistic. Where Final Fantasy maybe closer to fantasy. Which is,
I imagine there are a lot of people that were not, planning or could have reacted to this but didn't. Because they saw that lineup and were like, nah. And I wouldn't blame them.
No,
But then saw Project Athia was shown like, fuck. Like, Damiani from Easy Allies, I'm sure, was one.
I'm sure,
It's like, we could have got him.
Dang. But at least I think this was still kind of a teasery thing. Like, they still haven't shown much of the game, so. Name's weird. Again, I'm going to say the same thing Easy Ally said. Do you think in 3 months you'll be able to recall the name for Spoken? Because I could see me being like, what?
Absolutely not.
It's like, what? The Athia,
I'll probably say like Forsaken and be like, no, that's too normal sounding.
Honestly, Athia I think would be a better name.
Athia is the name of a place, but they could have named it that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
They talked about Avengers, which was a big draw for some people here. They
Wakanda.
Yep, showed a little teaser for Black Panther and Wakanda and all that kind of stuff. Showed a roadmap, which looking at it and hearing from people who actually like Avengers, doesn't sound much of anything. What they're adding is just saying like, here's more places to beat up people.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like you said, you said, I want to like this game is what it was just exactly words before, but you can't. And when I watched that trailer, I'm like, oh shit, look, Wakanda, they're doing the music and let's go. But then I like stop and think about like, it would be cool for 2 minutes, and then I'm beating up the same enemies over and over and over again. It's like that's the problem with the pictures.
I guess I've said like that recording just saying
it's been messed up the whole time. We have a backup if it's wrong. I don't know what the hell it's doing. It's been doing this.
I just know that. Yeah, sorry.
This whole time, but we have a backup.
Seeing some of the people talk about it, like with the story mode stuff, I mentioned to you like only if it's on Game Pass. I've seen it for like getting close to like the $10-15 range or someplace.
It's getting about the range where it's like
I might do it to get into the story stuff a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with that because even the gameplay doesn't look the most exciting. But I play Jump Force.
I'm not above this.
I played Jump Force and Musou games. I'm sure that combat's fine enough for me.
I can understand it. There is some meat on the bone to enjoy. Like it's not completely devoid of it's like there's some of it.
Throwing out there, if I suddenly come with Avengers impressions, it might happen at some point. I might buy it at some point.
I mean, it is completely going off that Avengers nostalgia, but I'm not going to hate on that because we have
also wasn't shown in the presentation, but just kind of implied / from Video Game Chronicles talking about Spider-Man a little bit. That big controversy we talked about last year.
Where is he?
Sounds like originally it was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year. Looking, it won't be until late this year.
Which doubly sucks because like Xbox is like, go ahead and put them out because the timer's ticking for a year afterwards.
Honestly, I kind of want to bring this up just as a quick thing. Like, do you think they regret that decision with Spider-Man making him exclusive? The reason I say that is Avengers are having trouble building up hype. They're messing up their schedule is all out of whack. They just got their second character out, and honestly, it's not saying just because it's Hawkeye. It's boring in a way because the first two post-game characters are bow characters.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's like the only two characters you put out this far out from are two is Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. It's like, I know that's cool for nerds or whatever, but your actual gameplay, this is the Avengers. Yeah. Where people have crazy powers. That could be fucking Doctor Strange, but instead it's two bow characters. Yeah. What are you doing?
And the only character they have announced or actually have shown off, we know Spider-Man's coming, but Black Panther, which doesn't sound like they just say it's coming this year. They didn't even say summer. And that's just wild to me. And for Spider-Man, it's like, that's going to be terrible because it sounds like the stuff they release with the characters is actually good. And that's awesome, but they're few and too far in between. And you're going to have this whole character, the most popular character, that's just going to be on one system. And then, unless they release another character with him, that's going to be a long time waiting for PlayStation people. And then Xbox PC people got to wait how long between characters if they miss out on one?
Yeah.
It's just wild, and then we didn't even talk about it on the podcast. I don't think too much off the podcast. The crazy XP thing they did, where you have to grind even more. What are you doing?
I mean, that Spider-Man move definitely seems like a move made back when they thought that this was going to be the biggest shit in the world. Yeah. And also, why all this is happening?
COVID, partly.
Because we're playing this game in early access right now. This game shouldn't be out. This game was not ready. This game was not even close to ready. It's like they had to spend, they're so behind on everything, partially because of COVID, but also because they've been working on bug fixes and stuff and trying to get the game operable for pretty much this whole time. And that's everything's pushed back. It's almost like the game should have been coming out this September instead of last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I feel like we have this year of Avengers content, and then the game's dead and gone.
Part of me would not be surprised if we got no characters beyond Black Panther and Spider-Man, and we're mainly getting those because they were already announced, and Spider-Man has that contract. I wouldn't be either. It has to come out,
and it's crazy. This is the freaking Avengers. It's like,
Okay.
I'm gonna get a water, so I keep getting up.
All right. They showed off Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy, which is the reboot trilogy, repackaged and re-released yet again.
I'm about to say, how many different times is this?
Yeah, I think it was Shadow Drop. I'm not sure.
They're good games. They're on sale all the freaking time. So
yeah, you can get it for $19.99 right now before it gets out of sale, and is for $49.99. And I promise you could buy all the games separately for much cheaper than that. I think I've seen them at least the first two on sale for $5 at multiple points in time.
I literally on Steam own all the Tomb Raider games. All the way back to Tomb Raider 1. I own all of them because it was $30 to get from Tomb Raider 1 to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Nice. All the Tomb Raider games, including Temple of Osiris and Lara Croft Go. $30.
Nice.
Yeah, so probably don't buy this. Wait till they're on sale.
And also in Tomb Raider news, they're releasing a cookbook later this year.
Ooh, just milk. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
And a cooler news, Cloth Manor is coming to Fortnite Creative Mode. That's cool.
Huber said something in the UCLA that was just a fan-made map or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. He knows more than me. But
they put it in there, so I don't know.
Well, I think Brandon brought it up, and then Huber was like, it's just a fan-made something. It's not an official. I don't know.
No. Huber know more than me. They had a mobile game section, and this main reason I want to bring it up, I'm not going to go one by one. The weird thing was, I don't know, did you watch Easy Ally's reaction at all? You should look at this. They announced the Hitman Sniper game, and Huber was so excited, and then mobile came up, and he was... I've never seen him fall so hard, so fast.
Poor Hubie.
It was sad to watch. But here's the weird thing. Hitman's not Square Enix anymore.
Right. Right.
Like I don't know where to go off on that as far as the conversation, but that's just weird. And I feel like I didn't really think about it until the allies mentioned it. It's like, you're right.
Oh yeah, it's like okay, yeah. Obviously,
they don't own that anymore.
So they obviously they're having to license this out from Hitman, which is from IO, which is bizarre. But I mean,
unless there was something going on with just the mobile game or this game in particular.
Yeah, there could be
done
mobile rights or whatever. But I mean, if they did go to IO, they'd be like, whatever, money, sure. Yeah, make your game. We're doing 007 now. Do what you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be interested to see if they actually did license it back from them, or maybe this is just something that was already in the agreements. That maybe they were already working on this when IO split, and they're like, "Hey, this is part of the agreement. Is we get to keep making this game." That is probably more likely, but
yeah, it's just weird.
It is weird.
As far as other things, Outriders got like a 50-minute presentation. Dear Lord, that was boring. Just going over everything. Yeah,
we will not be discussing this game by the end of the year, probably.
Yeah, we will discuss it later in this podcast for 2 seconds. We'll get to that. And yeah, Balan Wonderworld. That game's gonna die.
Hot diggity damn.
Okay, Darby, it's time to go over to. Oh yeah, we're getting the Square Enix Presents things. Another one this summer. Overall, I think the presentation was pretty good. It's just straight up direct style. Had nice like in between stuff. The pacing was fine enough. Outriders lasted too long. Some of that stuff, but overall, yeah, looking forward to more of this shit. This is the future. We're apparently getting a Bamco one soon.
Tails. We are supposed to receive Tails soon. So
yeah, Digimon Survive.
Oh baby,
please.
Oh.
No, Derek, we mentioned it before. It'll be hilarious if they announce it. Everyone's just freaking about Elden Ring.
Whatever.
Me and you, like, we'll talk about Elden Ring on the podcast for 2 seconds, and then focus on Tails and Digimon Survive.
Hell yeah! Oh, we know who we. Oh, come on, you know, it's like
fuck Elden Ring, man. Give me Digimon Survive.
Get out of here. We would kill Elden Ring in front of your eyes. We would delete the source code. Just to get those. Just to get those faster.
Yeah.
But just like not just to get it all, just to get it today. I would do it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, PSVR 2 news, Darby. We gotta look at that controller.
They look more like actual controllers made for the system and not made for a dead previous peripheral, so that's good.
Yeah, and just what they were saying about it with I don't have the thing. Let me go to the blog post. Like just the stuff around, just the design of it's going to be better for it and be more comfortable for sure, and adding better stuff from like the PS5 thing with like haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and that kind of stuff, like, and tracking will be significantly better, I am sure. Just it's gonna be better overall.
I would have to imagine. I mean, the fact that we're using Move Ones has always just been a like, well, we got to cut down on price somewhere. It's like just use these things.
We have these, and I guess for people to, if they have them, don't have to spend as much to make it a cheaper option.
I mean, only 3 people had them, so
it's true. But those 3 people were pretty happy.
They
were
save
happy.
That money. Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yes, I think they look cool. They look like Oculus or HTC Vive. Yeah. They look more like legit, mature, current VR tech.
Seeing these and kind of thinking about like now that and since they announced the PS4 3, it's like, will that be the one I end up getting going forward? And that's kind of because the only reason I say that is it will be something I have to think about. Sony's had some pretty good games on there, like that are just theirs. So, like, if I want to potentially continue with those series or whatever, it just, I don't know. It's just gonna depend where we're at. If they say they're not making games, then fuck it. No.
I'd be very surprised if they were making a PSVR 2 and not making at least like Astrobot type thing.
That's just gonna be the thing. It's like Astrobot 2 though.
I know. I part of me wishes that they had just not made the PSVR 2 and just said we're gonna make Astrobot for Oculus.
Yeah, but the cowards.
Yeah, they are cowards, aren't they?
Yeah. You know who are also cowards? WB.
Batman.
It's true.
Coward for going and dying. Only cowards die.
It's true. But yeah, Gotham Knights been delayed to 2022. This isn't the first delay we got this year. go. Yeah. How surprised you are that Gotham Knight got delayed?
I am a little, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I feel like we saw a good bit from that.
Yeah, I feel some people being like, "Oh, you guys thought it was coming out this year?" I'm like, what reason do we have to believe that it wasn't?
Yeah, this wasn't a God of War logo.
Yeah.
It's like, this was like, they actually showed, it's like, this is, you're playing with friends. This is jumping here. Yeah. Here's a whole story mission.
Gameplay.
Yeah, it was like a demo, basically, that we saw was played. So it's like, yeah, I am a little surprised that, like, and especially they're like, already right now, they're like, yeah, we can't make this year. It's like, it's, because I was honestly expecting that game pre-fall, like early fall or something.
I was thinking August.
I was expecting August, September type of deal.
Yeah.
So I am a little surprised. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to be overly surprised if any game gets delayed right now because
this kind of thing, and it's looking like Jason Schreier kept on hitting at when Hogwarts Legacy got delayed into next year. I mean, we were surprised that got delayed because we didn't know it was planned for this year.
I assumed it was already planned for 2020.
Yeah. He was like, this isn't the only one. Updated his little tweet chain like, yep. Not going to be the only one. And this is like, it could be a good year for backlogs and all that. Though I'm pretty busy through August, so I don't know who. Those people are crazy, but
yeah, it's still going to be a good year for sure. But like this, I think this year is going to be more impacted than 2020, like we've said a bunch of times, because 2020 the games were more or less done.
By that point.
This is like we're seeing games that had like almost a full year of less productive production because of COVID. So.
Yep.
Gonna
be crazy.
So bummer. I don't think this like completely messes the whole year's ruined because Gotham Knights is gone. Like obviously I know other people are more excited for me because they're Arkham fans and things like that. But I think this game will still be a big deal when it comes out.
I agree. I'm so excited for this game. I want to know more because I feel like this could be one like if it's good enough, like maybe you to get into playing with friends would be fun. I'm curious about the story in general.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if I just want to play alone. Want to see impressions, but I am interested, yes.
Yep. WB, as of right now, is a pretty good slate for next year between this, Hogwarts, and Suicide Squad.
Oh, is that also... Are you right now playing for next year? Yeah.
And Suicide Squad's... Book it 2023. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy prediction. Because depending how much longer COVID goes, that'll be about 2 years in development for Suicide Squad in these conditions. So
yeah.
And again, seeing people say like, "Oh, 2022 is crazy with all these games getting delayed into next year." Like, well, odds are 2022 games are going to be there are now going to be delayed to 2023 as long as this goes.
Yeah.
Not like all those games are now going to come out in 2022 still.
It'll all level out. I mean, I think 2021 will be a lighter year, but there's just so many types of games coming out between indies and all the other things that I think the time of us having completely dead years are gone.
I mean, dead spells. I think are thing of the past for the most part. Is like you said, indies and all. They're a variety of games in different like sizes and scopes and styles and genres and all that kind of stuff coming out. It's like you gotta kind of really be into very specific things to not find anything to play.
Yeah. But 2019 sucks, and you're all wrong.
Yeah.
So that is
it's true.
It's true. Yeah. Resident Evil 2, not a good game. Moving on.
Well, Darby, it's time for a special segment of everybody gets a TV show. That's a movie.
Wait, it's getting a TV show?
Well, if you count an anime, that's a TV show.
No, anime doesn't count for anything, Jeff. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
You're right. How could I be so foolish? Scarlet Nexus got a release date June 25th, but with that announcement,
oh wait, yeah, we already talked about this anime before. I'd already forgotten.
So we got a new trailer showing off a girl doing story stuff, wanting to kill people.
Story stuff. I think you meant to say anime bullshit.
Fuck yeah, TM. Scarlet Nexus is also getting an anime. They announced that. It is set to release worldwide this summer, so around the time of the game's release. The series is going to be produced by Sunrise Incorporated, and it will be broadcast in the U.S. on Funimation. Actually, I should have done this beforehand. I am sorry. I think we're doing good on time for me to try to do this real quick.
So there's no chance that anime is good, right? Like, I mean,
Probably
the game will probably be fun enough. The story's gonna be terrible. The game will be fun enough. The anime's gonna fail, like Dragon's Dogma, like all these other ones. And this is one of those that's like, why do they always do this before they even know if the thing's gonna be remotely successful? You know?
Yeah.
This is not like I don't know. It's weird. And there's nothing about Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus seems just like an astral chain type thing. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna light the world on fire. And it's like, you gotta have some self-awareness, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It seems like a very dumb idea, but
wait.
Go and get them.
Well, okay. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Sunrise did Gintama, so they can't be all bad.
We're gonna have to watch this damn thing when we do our anime gauntlet. If that continues,
if that continues, it'll probably be on the short list to try it out at the very least. Yes, for sure. But yeah, I have some interest in Scarlet Nexus, but that is definitely a game that not a day one for sure. It will be wait for reviews and a discount.
That will be a game that you buy in week 2 and never play.
Yes, you know me so well. Speaking of games I will never play, JK. Gotta have that Final Fantasy VII, Darby.
I don't know. It's debatable if I'll play this one. We'll talk about it.
Yep. We got some more Final Fantasy news. You know, that Tetsuya Nomura likes to talk to Famitsu, and people like to translate that shit and give us a little details. Because for some reason, I feel like it's just with Japanese games, we just get this random bullshit in magazines.
Yep. The biggest news just comes from magazines.
Yeah, okay. So we got a little information on the Yuffie episode and Someone Ever Crisis and some general stuff. Let's start with the Yuffie episode. Let's save the juicy stuff for last, you know.
Okay.
Yuffie episode, not too much crazy stuff. We're going to have some new materia and summons as far as new information. Nothing too crazy.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Trying to think what obvious materia might be there that...
Trying to think, there's not too many for an original game that was missing in here, and in fact, they obviously had a lot of new material. So I'm guessing they're gonna like probably have brand new, and I imagine they'll have more brand new. There definitely are some that are missing. The summons is definitely the more interesting thing. Yeah. It's like some summons from the original game because they had a lot of them, but there are still a lot that were not there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They might use like I don't think there'll be more than 2 new ones. I'm going to say like at most. Like, they'll use 2 for this DLC
I want Hades. I always thought he was really cool. He's like a big skeleton man that comes up from hell and like has like a big cauldron.
What if this is where they use Knights of the Round?
No, don't blow out Load Tooth. You have like probably 2 more
it's only in this DLC. And
No. You gotta make me work for Knights of the Round. You cannot just like I will be a little upset if they just give you Knights of the Round. Like you gotta work for that. I want that. I want a lot of people to play through Final Fantasy Part 2 or whatever and not even realize it's in there. Like that's what needs to happen.
Okay. I need lots of fetch. I need you to rescue like 10 cats at least to get
at least. Yeah. Like if it is open world, I want them to like recreate some version of the real ass crazy shit you have to do to get that because go look it up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I've done it twice.
Madman.
Yes, and I'll do it many more times in my life probably. I forgot exactly what I was gonna say, but. I'm gonna say the 2 that I want: Hades, and I want Alexander. It's either Alexander or
Alexander Zirinov.
Alexander Zirinov. I think it might be Alexandria or something. It's like gigantic. Like at first you see there's a city. It's like a city's there or whatever. The city lifts out of the ground. The city is on top of this monster. It's its hat.
Nice.
It's wearing a city as a hat, and it's like, rah! And it's like you did the summon in a hallway. I don't think this makes sense, but like I want them to do that.
See, I want you to go crazy with it. Let's get Ariel from the Little Mermaid in here.
Fucking King Mickey comes through a portal.
I mean, if only. Yeah, they have no more DLC planned. The focus is going to go into part 2. Like don't expect any more DLC episodes after
Makes
this.
sense.
Yeah. They're saying that they will think about doing more DLC after Part 2 releases for that game. Makes sense. And they... Nomura mentioned the transition to the sequel development. It's gone smoothly. Partly, it sounds like because of this Yuffie episode, it's a nice way to kind of get used to the stuff and make transitioning easier. So that's nice.
Combo battles or combo attacks.
Yeah.
I hope that this is like a test case for that, because that's something I want.
That's the kind of thing that I think. It'd be good.
Team attacks is what I'm trying to say. Combo attacks is a weird way to say that. Yeah, like team up attacks.
I think that'll be a good way to help separate between the two, because they did a lot there, adding with all the spells and summons you already have in there. It's like, okay, what are they going to do to try to keep it interesting, mix things up? I think that's a good thing to introduce, and this is a good place where it's just these are the two you're using to kind of.
Yeah, I hope this. I hope we see this as kind of a bridge to something more.
Yeah. So let's get to the Ever Crisis, Darby.
Do we have to?
Yeah. We'll start off, then we'll get into the thing you're gonna have an issue with. Let's start with the nice information. The original Final Fantasy VII will be around 10 chapters. Midgar is about 3 chapters, and they mentioned that's kind of the pace that the other ones will go in.
Yeah.
Young Sephiroth, Shinra employees, and even characters that will appear in the next Final Fantasy VII Remake installment will appear in their youth.
Interesting.
So I'm curious what that's. So yeah, Dar, you need to play this to.
It's going to be very important. I want to play this, but I'm worried about
it is free. I know how much you hate free
mobile.
Stuff.
I hate. Just let me give you money.
Yeah. Well, they will allow you to give them money with weapon gacha.
Well, just why? You don't need.
They gotta make money somehow. But
legitimately charge me money. Charge me money.
Now I'm with you. I would just much rather. I mean,
the
way this is looking, I paid for this. I'd paid for this.
Oh,
based on what we're seeing. Yeah.
I mean, look at me. Yeah. I bought the soundtrack. I bought the Ultimania. I was about to buy the game again. I played it. I bought it on every platform it's available on, except for mobile. It's like, yeah, of course I would play this, and I'm interested in this. I'm hoping that either it won't be. It's not as like. I don't know. It shouldn't be in the game anyway. It shouldn't be in a narrative story-based game like this. The weapon gacha mechanic should not be in there. Anyway, honestly, what I'm most hoping for is that sometime afterwards, it'll come to Switch as you pay for it. It has none of that's there, and you just get the shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. Like, the only touchdown I have for that is that the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition came to Switch eventually. Yeah. I don't think it ever had, like, gacha mechanics. So that's the... It's just so freaking out of place for a game like this.
Yeah.
It's just for a story-based, turn-based RPG thing like this, it's just so gross. I don't like it. Keep it out of there.
I'm not even sure how, like, with these chapters, like, how's it going to... I don't know. Well, I guess we'll learn.
It's dumb. I don't want to open loot boxes in my fucking Final Fantasy VII. It's stupid. Stupid.
Other news, Darby.
Other news.
Jade Raymond started a new studio called Haven Entertainment, and they are working on a new IP for PlayStation. Darby, will this be the game she finishes?
Yeah, will Jade Raymond ever get to make a game? Yeah, good for her. I hope things finally go well for her for a change.
Yeah.
Definitely feel like she's like, PlayStation. Get me the hell out of Google as fast as I can.
Says she enjoyed her time at Google.
People say a lot of things, Jeff.
It's true. Also funny, and so something funny related to Google and Stadia. So I don't know if you saw, Daria, that Bomberman Battle Royale game was just...
Good thing we have a backup, because it is not picking up our audio right now in here.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's the thing, I guess. We have this. This might be an audio-only podcast.
Cool. That means I can do whatever I want. But where are they going to? Oh, yeah, that Bomberman Battle Royale game. They announced for Stadia.
I have no clue what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It got announced, and, well, it might have shadow dropped or got ported to literally everything else. So Stadia lost literally like one of its daily exclusives.
Nice.
And what's funny, Imran posted a little anecdote on his Twitter, like, Yeah, so I had a Google Stadia employee look me dead in the eyes and say this was only possible on Stadia. This was not possible anywhere else but Stadia. Like, that's funny.
Nice.
So if you guys want to play Bomberman Battle Royale, it's out there on everything.
You one person, we're talking to you, Steve.
Yep.
with your Bomberman shirt and your Bomberman posters all over the place.
Yep. Put Bomberman for real in Smash. God damn it. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster will release for PS4, Switch, and PC Steam on May 25th, 2021. I want to play this, but I know I'm not going to get around to it.
You won't?
I will not. I want to play it. But also, I think very interesting. I don't know if this was announced beforehand. It probably was. I don't know. But this is an Atlas game in the Shin Megami Tensei Persona universe that's coming to PC day one.
But or the
It's a
Right?
With Persona,
is it a sign for things to come?
Yeah, with Persona as well. Strikers coming to that stuff as well. Like these same systems. Like hopefully that's just a trend.
That came to PC day one. So that was Atlas. Yeah.
Hopefully that's just a trend.
I mean, it seems like it probably is because they were like, "Oh wow, Persona 4 Golden did good." Who knew that people wanted to play these on PC? It's like, oh, go fuck yourself. Are you kidding me? It's like people have been screaming forever.
Yeah, and even for me, it's less than their PC and the fact that these things are less being exclusive. So hopefully, like the next Persona game, if it's too good to run on it, that great. But like Persona 6 be on Switch or something. Like there's no reason for Persona 5 to not be on Switch unless there's some weird contract thing.
There simply is not.
Nope.
And I'm more and more wholeheartedly believing there is no contract thing. I think that they're just a very bizarre, weird company.
Yeah.
Because now it really does seem like Persona 4 going to Steam, it was like, all bets are off now. It's like, oh shit.
But I need to get this and get Dante.
What?
Dante is a persona in this.
Dante from the Devil May Cry series. I didn't know
that's where that originated.
Is that where it originated? I never knew. I never knew where that.
But yeah, pretty sure that's the thing.
I never knew where that sticker was on. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. The more you know.
The more I know.
Random as hell, but
it is pretty damn random.
And Fortnite, Dirty, that game me and you love. We talk about all the time. We win all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean we went so much we had to stop playing. It's just like we gotta let the kids.
So I have no idea the context for this. I think it's a finale for a season or some shit, or / the start of the new season. I don't know. But there's a new Fortnite cinematic directed by the Russo brothers. Because why not?
Because that's the world we live in.
That was pretty wild. I don't know if you saw it.
I have not actually.
Yeah. It starts out with Jonesy falling down, and then like an alien attacks with the tongue going out, like Sarah Connor shoots it or something, and then Terminators are there, and then
what the hell is happening?
There's this pancake man,
and then Patrick Mahomes comes out.
Then a pancake man slides and Kratos comes in, and you see Master Chief shooting by like a bear or something. I think it was. Ryu Hadouken a banana man and make it explode.
Like I said, our generation is way too freaking cynical about this, or like our gamers are way too cynical about this. Fortnite is like the coolest shit right now. It's incredible that this is a real ass thing that can happen.
Yeah, in the new season they have and I told you this, I don't know if, in case people haven't heard about it, the Tomb Raider skins where it's literally the generations of Laura.
It's
like
very cool.
Skins for all
very,
those.
very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Yeah, no. Fortnite's awesome. Don't be cynical about it. Yeah. Just because you don't like to play it doesn't mean that it's not a really crazy, innovative, cool thing.
Yep. And there's a lot of crazy bullshit, but, it's mechanically good. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a well-made game. It's just not for me, and that's fine. And it's not for you. But the, weird blind hatred for that game is just very silly to me.
Darby, this is something that just kind of passed over. Like, we just need to mention the straight sentence. There's an official cinematic where Kratos and Master Chief are both in it.
Yeah, and you're being cynical about this? Screw you. So what the hell are you talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, time to talk about Microsoft. I partly bring this as a topic because there's been a decent amount of like Microsoft related news and stuff. There are different like conversations and stuff we can go away from this, like a couple mini conversations. And it's partly because since we didn't record last week, we didn't talk about the fact that Microsoft officially owns Bethesda and all the stuff that happened with that last week. A lot of it is kind of from like we kind of talked about before, but now it's like official stuff, so we can kind of.
Yeah, Doom Guy is now the CEO of Microsoft.
Yes, fine. I finally, and Banjo's the VP. He made it official. Banjo's been working hard for that spot.
He really has. He's been climbing that corporate ladder, dude. You know.
Yes. Kazooie's unfortunately just the secretary because sexism.
You hate to see it. We'll shatter that glass ceiling one day.
Yep. So the important thing that more interesting thing with this is. We were finally able to learn what happened with the exclusivity for Bethesda. How's that going to work? And, Spencer reiterated before this whole thing as far as why not mention before. They legally cannot talk about their plans to make Bethesda or make them because the deal wasn't officially done.
Yeah.
So that's weird. But as far as exclusivity, contracts on current Bethesda games will be honored. They kind of already
you can see that. They're about to release 2 PS exclusives.
Yep. Games already released on other platforms will continue to get support. And they mentioned like legacy games, which cause some confusion. I think this is like the Elder Scrolls Onlines of the world.
Probably.
Not like Elder Scrolls 6 will be on there because Elder Scrolls 5 was.
Yeah, it's more like that's still the existing game. They're not going to shut down the servers for
And this is the thing. This Bethesda deal is about exclusive content for Xbox.
Yeah,
pretty much the line like, okay, stuff's gonna be exclusive.
It's gonna be exclusive. Yeah, like by and large, you should assume things are gonna be exclusive. Obviously, Xbox is a different company where something like Ori is now on Switch, which is or Cuphead is now on Switch, which is different than other companies would operate. But the thing that everyone is actually really asking when they talk about this is like Starfield and Elder Scrolls and stuff. And go ahead and assume those are Xbox exclusives.
Yeah. The interesting thing about it, as far as for the people that are still in doubt, there any doubt left? Based on rumors, we might find out sooner rather than later with Starfield.
Yeah.
Because that's rumored by Jeffy Grubb. Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat.
I believe he said there's a 75% chance it comes out this year. So Jeffy Grubb said.
But yeah, talking about it's going to be revealed / re-revealed this summer at whatever event Xbox, Bethesda, or whatever's going to have, and plan to release this year. So we'll definitively get that whole thing is the big game Bethesda exclusive by then.
Sure.
I think
there's a chance that one could be an exception since it was being made beforehand.
Yeah.
But at least
it's one of those things where if Starfield's exclusive, it's done. We know. No questions asked.
Completely done. But even if it's not, I think it'll probably be like the last big one.
I feel like, I feel like we're at the point now with this whole thing. They could say like what the deal is if it is not exclusive. Like, yeah, we're doing this because this is part of previous contract stuff, but from here on out or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll come out and say that directly, but
I don't know. It's a weird thing because like it's hard to say like all games because again, it might be something that's not like announced yet that's not exclusive. So it's like we can't say all because there's something that's literally not announced yet.
Right. Like this is not like a completely definitive statement where we like 100% know how everything is going to go here, but more or less like the different sides of this. And contrary to what like people will say on the internet, this was not a guaranteed like easy. Like of course I was going to do this thing because Xbox has been breaking these norms left and right the last few years. It was a question. They are putting out 2 PS exclusives this year. Again, it's a weird time. It's a weird thing. But at the end of the day, it was like, Xbox is okay with like sacrificing their like the value of their exclusive brand and like you buying their box and everything, they're okay with sacrificing that for the good of just saturation. And they've shown that before, but it was like, how far are they willing to take that ideal? And apparently not that far. That's too far to take it there, which financially makes sense. It makes sense that you shell out the $7 billion. You have Elder Scrolls, you have Fallout, you have Doom. It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you whether it's first or thing, but the longer we've been getting away from that initial conversation, like $7.5 billion is a lot to put your biggest stuff on other consoles. I get why Minecraft is the exception, and I think that was a good argument for why they could do that for Elder Scrolls and Starfield and stuff. But obviously, Elder Scrolls isn't at Minecraft level. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah, no, certainly not. And yeah, that's definitely. We'll talk about how much it does kind of suck, definitely, overall for the gamers out there. But from Xbox's perspective, even though like I think Sony will obviously be ahead of them, I think, for probably this whole console generation, just like PS4, PS5, but an Elder Scrolls 6 and things like that is gonna be enough for a lot of people who would never have bought an Xbox to at least go buy an S, at least.
Yeah, or at the very least, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's hard to completely judge how the two companies are doing or compare them because Xbox games are on PC and Game Pass is a thing, so that's a whole different revenue stream. And Bethesda games are going to instantly boost that. Like, there are people that the moment that a big Bethesda game comes out are going to get Game Pass for the first time because might as well get, because like 4 months of Game Pass Ultimate equals one full price Bethesda game.
Yeah.
So if you're already getting those, you might as well pick up Game Pass and get some other stuff as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, get people in Bethesda. And that's smart. I mean, that could happen without the exclusivity, but I feel that will definitely push it some. And obviously, like you mentioned, selling the boxes for sure. People will get, especially the S, I think, especially if it goes down in price or they do deals, like around Elder Scrolls time, like, okay, I'll buy this box to get Elder Scrolls and play whatever the other Bethesda games or exclusives are.
Yeah. And if in the future xCloud is to like a point where it like really works really well, that could soften the blow. I mean, that could be a solution for some people who, like, if I didn't have a PC, that would be me, where it'd be like Xbox has so few things that I really want exclusively, and I don't want to spend another like $300, $400 on a whole nother box just for a handful of games. It just doesn't. It seems dumb. xCloud might be a solution for those people. It might be the solution I went for if I didn't have PC. But at the end of the day, like, at least in America, like, our internet infrastructure in a lot of places is just not going to catch up as fast as Xbox can go. So I don't think that's a solution for everyone. And I do think for console-only people, which is a lot of people, this is a bummer. This is a big bummer, because there's going to be a lot of people that it's like, I really love Elder Scrolls, and I really don't give a shit about anything else. So it's like, I have to spend $300 to play Elder Scrolls. It's like, that's oof. That hurts, you know?
No, I get that. I empathize with those people.
Yeah, it sucks. It does suck. It's a weird situation. Obviously, luckily, I'll be able to play it on PC.
Yeah.
I'm so glad for that policy that they have. So you can say like Fable and Elder Scrolls, and there'll be other things, but those are the main two where I'm like,
and you know, this isn't related to the exclusivity thing as far as the Bethesda. Like, the more I thought about it for the Bethesda and Game Pass thing, it's like, I'm kind of excited for that, because Bethesda, like, especially as long as we've done this podcast, Bethesda games have consistently been like, when they've been showing their stuff, like, that looks interesting. I'm interested to potentially try that out. I just never get around to it because, you know, money commitment and all that kind of stuff. But now that, you know, I'll just have the service where they're on, I'll more likely to jump in. Like, I think Outer Worlds is the great comparison where that is the Bethesda like game that you know, I was like, okay, I'm interested in, and it's not the kind of game I typically played it, loved it.
Yeah, you know how we talk about like that would be a great Game Pass game? Bethesda's just a company full of those. Like, every single one of their games is
I'm excited to go back and maybe play some of the Bethesda games I have missed.
Yeah, Evil Within, Dishonored.
Evil Within is definitely one. It's Dishonored one that I've been interested in. May actually play an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, they're all there.
So I do think we should do our modded Skyrim stream. Yes. That'd be a fun way to experience.
It will definitely not be a pure stream. I'm gonna spawn 500 goats and we're gonna go crazy.
Let's do it.
I should go ahead and download that and start looking for mods. That's just something I should do.
Also something that's I think interesting. He mentions delivering games on or Phil Spencer mentions delivering games on platforms where Game Pass exists. So
leaving that door wide open, baby.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much like, so Sony, if you want Bethesda games, you can put Game Pass on there.
Come do an arrangement.
I'm very curious. Like, if they put Game Pass on PlayStation, that means people can play Halo on there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they put everything on there.
I put Game Pass on there.
That'd be crazy.
I doubt they would be like, you can play Game Pass, but not Master Chief. Keep him off.
Yeah.
No, I doubt that. I don't think that will happen. Going on PlayStation.
Yeah. I think Microsoft would be okay with it.
Oh, yeah. I think Microsoft would be okay with it now. 2 years ago, they would have been okay with it this whole time. But
yeah. Sony would be like, you can have your Elder Scrolls.
I think there's a chance that a really bad streaming version of it comes to Switch.
Yeah. Honestly, it's talking about it, thinking about it, it's kind of wild how like suddenly, Xbox's Microsoft exclusive lineup just got crazy bigger. Like now their lineup can be compared more to Nintendo and Sony, where I definitely could not say that before.
No, it was nowhere near it before, but we obviously still have to wait a while to see the fruits of like any of this. But like on paper, the IP that they own, they now suddenly have.
They own Doom and Halo and Gears of War
and Elder Scrolls. And Fallout.
Yeah. They've now completely made this up like a big shooter developer with Halo, Doom, and Gears of War, and now they are probably like the biggest Western RPG developer.
Yeah,
they got them IP and studios,
and owning Obsidian with the fact that they have Pillars of Eternity now, and they're making a new RPG. I mean, Obsidian is like they're almost like a monolith software. They're like like quietly one of the best like CRPG, Western RPG developers out there. And it's like they have some pretty big things, and they have Mikami. Is he still there?
He is. So that's crazy. Moving on to some Game Pass stuff. They added 20 Bethesda games I mentioned to Game Pass. There's some weird omissions, like Evil Within 2 is not on there.
I think or maybe they turned around and said that it wasn't, but I think one of the guys in Kind of Funny said that New Vegas is only on console.
Yes. There are a couple that are console only.
It's been on PC for years. Yeah. What? What's the deal? I don't understand.
Elder Scrolls Online, I think, is console only.
Which that makes no sense. It's fucking MMO. You don't want to play that shit on console? What you doing?
The majority are on both, and including the cloud and everything, but there are a couple weird ones like that. So, big thing I want to mention, which is kind of weird, I'm going to throw in Nier Automata into this as well. The Evil Within and Nier Automata were both just added to PC Game Pass.
Hey, PC got the good end of one of these deals. Wow.
That's gonna be something I bring up as well. Like a little conversation. So rarely. This is gonna be just a multiple getting through the multiple Microsoft topics. But both Evil Within and Nier Automata seem to be new ports of PC ports of these games.
I did hear
Nier Automata is apparently significantly better on Game Pass than Steam.
Yeah,
and there's no sign of that version coming to Steam, and people aren't happy.
Yeah, understandably. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, 100%.
I've heard people say lots of bad things about that PC
and
port.
Apparently Evil Within added some crazy stuff like a first-person mode, apparently.
Yeah, that sucks for that to just be exclusive.
It's just right now on the Game Pass version. Like it's
wild
that they did the work for that. Like it might be Microsoft putting money into. Well, I guess not Evil Within because that was just owned, so they legally couldn't, I guess. I don't know.
I kind of doubt it. I think it's probably, it would take some extra money and effort to update the Steam version, and they're just like, they made it because they're like, oh, this version's coming out, so let's just do this or whatever. And they're just like, oh, that's an old version out there, and that's not what they should be taking.
Like, the Evil Within has a lot of other stuff I saw as well, but the first person who wants to turn out with me like, that's just a weird addition to just randomly add on one version, but okay, I guess.
Bizarre.
Yep. I guess we can talk about the difference between PC and console Game Pass is getting more upsetting.
It's dumb. You're charging the same amount for both of these services. They should be equal, or at least
one big
close
game that's
to
coming
equal.
out. Outriders is coming out on Game Pass day one. That's pretty big. New Square Enix game. We're not interested in it, but people excitements have built since the demo. But it's on console only.
I don't get it. I don't know why this happens.
And it's getting more and more like that, where stuff like Nier will be added to Game Pass PC much later than.
And even freaking Pillars of Eternity, which is like a Divinity type game. It's like a super duper CRPG. You're dealing with lots of different inventory management, all this. Like, playing that on console sounds like a way inferior experience. And it's been on console Game Pass for months, and it's just now coming to PC Game Pass, like months and months and months later. Why? I don't really understand.
Some of that's weird. Like, I guess this is probably just because of their old games, so it's weird. Rare Replay's not on PC.
I would totally play Banjo.
If you want to, you can do my Xbox. Don't let that stop you from enjoying a good time.
It's true. I shouldn't have said anything.
But that's just weird. Another big piece of news we'll definitely talk about next week is Xbox Indie Showcase is coming Friday, March 26th, and will feature games like Stalker 2, Second Extension, The Ascent, The Wild at Heart, Voltrain, and XO1. And as well, more importantly to us, the screen they have for that in the bottom left, you can see 12 minutes. So
let's go, baby.
I'm surprised they didn't mention it in that list of games since it's on the thing, but they also announced that this is going to be like a series of thing of like they're going to show off 100 games, and this is only going to be about 25-ish for the series. So, but they had 12 minutes there, so I'm thinking 12 minutes will probably be here. But I don't know. So I was putting out there, so don't be surprised. I guess if 12 minutes is not there, too upset, I guess.
I need to hear from Willem.
It's true.
I need to hear his voice.
Let's go watch Justice League.
Let's go watch the Snyder Cut. Just show me the Willem scenes and I'm out.
That's like 2 minutes.
That's it.
Yep. So I'm excited about this, and especially since this is ID and Xbox, probably a decent chunk of these games are going to be on Game Pass day one or added to Game Pass, so that's exciting. Can enjoy that shit. EA Play has finally come to Game Pass PC.
I played like 5 minutes of Star Wars Squadrons and noped out of that real fast. It's too intense for me. Mm-hmm. The whole flight thing.
How was doing EA Play on Game Pass? Was that fine?
I had to apparently I already had an EA account from some shit, but I just had to
probably Madden.
Probably, that's probably it. That was probably it. It was a little weird because like I was searching in Game Pass and the games weren't there. I went like outside to the I had to do some. It was not completely obvious what you had to do. Yeah. It should be more obvious, like, because I had to do a little bit of searching. But it was a weird thing where it's like I typed in my information when I finally got to the thing that could link the two things. And then once I typed that in, suddenly it was like Squadrons, all this stuff in the Game Pass app, and I can download it from the Game Pass app now.
Weird.
But it's weird when I download it from the Game Pass app, it doesn't show up in my normal Xbox Game Pass downloaded games. Like I have to go to a separate EA thing.
Okay.
Or no, wait, sorry. It did show up there, but I couldn't do anything with it. Like I can you can right click and uninstall games and everything. You can't do that with this. You have to go to the separate EA thing. So it's a weird thing where it displays an Xbox, but there's certain things you have to go to EA to do. It's definitely a little janky, I would say. I would say it's not a perfect implementation, but yeah.
Octopath Traveler was added to Game Pass out of nowhere as well, coming as launched on Xbox as well, out of nowhere.
Oh, it has not been on Xbox, but now it is on Xbox.
Until this week or whatever, or I guess it's upcoming week. I don't think it's on there yet. It was Switch console exclusive.
Oh,
it's not even on. It hasn't even been announced for PlayStation.
Wow. It still has not been announced.
It has not. People were thinking it might have been because it was announced for Game Pass before the Square Enix presents. So people were like, "Oh, it's just going to be announced there." Crickets. So. Yeah,
that's a Xbox console exclusive JRPG.
So yeah, part of the reason that is here because it's weird in general, but Xbox or Phil Spencer specifically has been saying he wants to try to do better with that, and we're seeing some signs of that, like them working with Japanese publishers and stuff to get their games on there, and Octopath Traveler apparently being on Xbox and not PlayStation. That's a good sign of they're doing that and it's working.
It's interesting.
And obviously with Yakuza being added and all those games going there, Dragon Quest being on Xbox. So, yeah. Get all those Japanese shit on your Xbox and your Game Passes.
That's the place you go for JRPGs. It's Phil Spencer's house.
I wonder if I'm not going to do this because I don't. Yeah, I wonder. I think mods are kind of janky on Game Pass, but I wonder if you can get the fast forward mod on Octopath.
Seriously,
I think that's like something they added on Steam.
Straight up, just give me a level boost mod. I'm not above that game. Fucking just match me to the dungeons level and let me just finish the game because I was enjoying it.
Yeah. So yeah, all that sweet Xbox shit, Derby. There. A lot of stuff going on.
They're pretty good. There's a higher potential. There's more on the horizon than there was a very short amount of time ago for Xbox. I will say, I won't say like we're there yet. Like we're like boom. We're like, but there's a lot now. Like there's suddenly it's like okay. We actually have something to talk about when we talk about the next 5 years of Microsoft. Whereas every time we've had this conversation before, it's like. I guess Halo's coming back in some way. Maybe Fable's coming back. After that, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. One final thing. Sorry. Going back to Starfield real quick. So that's rumored to come out this year. Think they'll launch that and Halo right next to each other?
That is a question for sure.
You think they'll be comfortable with that?
I think they'd be comfortable as long as there's like a month barrier at least.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be that different than
different enough to where it's not a big deal. But
I mean, it's similar to a like Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima coming out in the same summer or whatever. Like,
they came out on
I don't think it would be the end of the world if they were like October, December, like September.
It's just kind of in like, I mean, if you got them, go ahead and put them out. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate in some way. Like, what will be your two biggest games you've released in quite a bit, coming out right close to each other? But yeah, they're different enough.
Yeah.
I don't know which one will benefit, like, or what would be the beneficial order for it? Like, if there's an order that would be better for it, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Craziness.
Don't know. I just know that it's gonna be a much harder time for them if Halo is the one that's like pushed out of this year instead of Starfield, because right now, like, most people have no expectation that Starfield's coming. But if Halo gets pushed again, that's gonna be brutal.
I'm just shocked we're talking about the potential of Starfield releasing this year.
Yeah, it's not one that I expected to be saying, but Death Stranding came out like 3 years before we expected it, so shit can happen.
True.
I expected right now for us to still be talking about, hey, when are we gonna see another Death Stranding trailer? But here we are, 2 years past. Well, thank you guys so much. Sorry, no video this week. Don't know what. Hey, the audio came back. Obviously not doing us much good because most of the episode it was gone. Whatever. Well, I mean, I guess I could still put the video and just match it. I'll see what I'll do.
You figure it out, Darby.
Okay. It might just be audio only. You know what? That's fine. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye. Zack Snyder is God.